don't have enough of a thinking process in their freaking brains, guys, that they don't click in to understand that sort of thing themselves, you know. So this is what's going on here now, guys. This is what's going on here in St. John's right now. Apparently it's going on all throughout the province and all throughout the country and down in the States, and I guess many parts of the world. Like just huge problems with addictions. And I don't have any clear-cut answers on how we as a collective society can get on top of those particular issues. Because when you're dealing with individuals that don't want to improve, that don't want to make the changes themselves, and that's where it's got to start, of course, naturally, you know, what can you do, guys? What can you do? You know what, I'm just going to go into 20 odd minutes of this one, and this one's going to split up automatically, I guess, 20 or 30 minutes there. And that will probably take up most of my recording time, and I'm also losing time to do what I'm doing here. I'm going to get into that for a second or two now as well. Because I'm not going to break up my flow of thought here now. I shouldn't talk too loud either, but although there shouldn't be nobody that would overhear me here right now. That would bother, sort of thing. It's because then you get into issues of crime as well, you know, and I was talking to did a video chat thing with my brother one day there last week, and because like I have thought so many times now, guys, about just leaving St. John's and getting out of this place and moving to some other part of the island, sort of thing. And just to try to get away from the effect that all this is having on me mentally and emotionally as well, sort of thing, you know. And here's my brother telling me that they're having a problem out in Twillingate as well, a small, tiny little rural fishing village now, guys. And this problem with addictions has reached its ugly friggin' claws even out into places like this. And so apparently the whole of Newfoundland now, all small little rural communities as well and so on, that every part of the province is being affected by this demon of drug abuse. And so it's like I'm here racking my brains, trying to understand the whole scenario, trying to understand the whole situation and how it's gotten to this point that it's this bad everywhere you go, all throughout the island, all throughout the province. And you come back then to the possibilities of organized crime, guys, and that there are people in the business of drug dealing that profit for themselves, maybe they're addicts as well, that are pushing this stuff into our communities and destroying lives and destroying communities. And we all have to pay the price. Every last one of us, whether you're an addict or not, you still have to pay the price. So St. John's right now is paying the price terribly because of the level of addictions that is occurring here right now, guys. The whole of the downtown core is littered with graffiti. I can only put that down to addicts, tons of time on their hands, and where to get all the freaking spray cans of paint and so on that to spray up every freaking thing on their side, I don't know. Some of it could also be connected with crime as well, I don't know. All these tag things that they put all over the place, I don't know if that's connected with any gangs or whatever sort of thing, you know. And so it brings down everything, guys. It brings down the mood of a place. It brings down the atmosphere of a place. It brings down the enjoyment of a place, you know. And so I've been 2 years now, almost 2 years, living in the downtown core. And every time I go up and down Duckworth Street, guys, every time I go up and down Water Street, I do not get an ounce of enjoyment going around this town, guys. Not an ounce of enjoyment. Because I'm seeing dilapidated buildings. I'm seeing places that's up for... It's not just this place alone. I hope the owner understands this. I mean, it's all over St. John's. People trying to sell properties and not being able to sell properties. So you're seeing like vacant places that are getting run down. That the owners won't keep them up. That the city won't keep them up. The city won't force the owners to keep them up, and so on and so forth. You're seeing graffiti everywhere. You know, you're seeing people sitting out in front of buildings, businesses, restaurants, you know, bumming. Everywhere you look, people bumming, you know. And I don't know about other people, guys, but like I am not thick-skinned in such a way that I can put myself in such a bubble and have such tunnel vision that I can't not see what's happening right around me, right in front of my freaking face. You know, like right on my doorstep practically, you know. So we're all being affected by it, guys. And this is here in Newfoundland. We're an island in the North Atlantic, right off to ourselves sort of thing, you know, like largely unaffected by so much that goes on in the world usually. The whole of my life has been spent that way, looking at the issues and problems going on in the rest of the world and feeling like I am sheltered from it because I live here in Newfoundland, just completely untouched by all. But more and more, guys, it's coming here. It's coming here. These problems are coming here. And it's destroying our province. It's destroying our communities. You know, it's destroying whatever bit of culture that we may have had before. You know, and we're all paying the price for it. So on one hand, you have greedy, materialistic pigs. I just know what a good way to talk about these people that want to profit at other people's expense. So an ongoing problem, and you have this all over Canada and all over North America, and I guess all over the world. People wanting to buy up properties, more and more properties. They can't get enough for themselves. Their real estate portfolios, they're building their real estate portfolios. So they buy up properties, not to live in themselves. See, there'll be a big difference if you're buying a place you're going to live into yourself and you're trying to make a life for yourself in that property. These people don't do that sort of thing. They buy up properties to profit off for themselves at other people's expense, guys. So they bump up rent, keep bumping up rent. So what I'm paying here, I'm paying $750 heat and light included for a room and this shared space here. That is pretty low rent here in St. John's right now, guys. This is part of my problem, a part of my anxiety and my worry that if I have to be forced out of this place quickly, I don't know if I could find another place within that that rental category sort of thing. And so even bachelors now, guys, start at around $9. A lousy bachelor, a room now, hopefully all self-contained, but you're just talking about one lousy friggin' room, starting at $9.50 now, guys, and more often than not, the heat and light is not included in that sort of thing, you know. So, like, how do I put this into words, guys? How do I explain this to anybody that I can convey this message well of the devastating effect that can not just on people on government assistance, but even the working poor. You can be working and at a part-time minimum wage job, and you're still in the same freaking, probably even worse category because of the money grubbing pricks that can't get enough money for themselves at the expense of other people. So the provincial government won't do anything about it. They won't put caps on rents. The city couldn't care less. They won't do anything about it to try to rectify the problem a bit better, sort of thing. So more and more people are slipping into poverty because of that. And then couple that then with this ongoing increasing drug problem sort of thing, you know. And I know it's not just here in St. John's. I know it's not just here in Newfoundland. I know it's all throughout Canada. And I know it's not just Canada. I know it's all throughout the States as well and everywhere, you know. And but I never thought, guys, that I would see the things that I'm seeing and experiencing the things that I'm experiencing in my lifetime in this province, in this place. But now it's coming here as well. The attitudes, the mentality, the selfishness, the self-centeredness, the heartlessness, the coldness, and all the rest of it. Guys, don't buy into any more freaking bullshit about this province, okay? This is not a warm, welcoming, caring, loving place, okay? We may or may not be that way toward tourists, to try to lure tourists here and all the rest of it. But when it comes to dealing with our own, we are as hard and as heartless and as coldless and as, as you can possibly imagine. We are not a loving, caring, kind, considerate, understanding, look out for your fellow man kind of society. If we ever were, I don't know if we ever were, to be honest with you, but we most definitely are not that now, and you don't experience that at all, not even close, in this town. I've been here now, guys, for over 35 years living in this town, and I've never experienced that. St. John's, it's just like Toronto, it's just like Vancouver, it's just like Montreal, it's just like, it's just like any major city down in the States, New York, Los Angeles, whatever, London, Paris, whatever big city you can think of, guys, that you might think of as our hard, cold, heartless place or whatever. That's St. John's, guys. That's St. John's. That's this place as well. Nobody talks to anybody here. No, nobody's friendly to anybody here. Nobody acknowledges anybody here. You can go up and down the street, you acknowledge every single solitary soul that you pass by, and they look at you like you got two edges and you're about ready to punch on them at any moment, sort of thing. There's no friendliness there, guys. There's no warmth. There's no caring. There's no concern. If there was any concern in this place, we wouldn't have the level of freaking poverty that we have here right now, and the street people and all the rest of it. People would do something. And the addicts, I've said it time and time again, I'm not going to go off too much of a tangent here now, but I got ideas about it that I think would work. Addicts should be put into supervised housing, where you got limits, you got curfews, you got all the rest of it, you got security people, they're monitored and all the rest of it, and they need to be forced to be put on programs to get them off their addictions while they're in these places. You got to take a more hard-nosed approach to all of this. For the rest of us, you can work with the rest of us. The government can work with the rest of us. Agencies can work with the rest of us better because we don't have that addiction thing hanging over our heads that's controlling our lives. So you can work with us a bit better. So you should have a whole different set of programs for the non-addicts that you can't implement with the addicts. Like, this is just plain freaking common sense stuff, guys. And it's like, so why can't politicians understand this freaking stuff? Understand it for themselves? It's just plain common sense stuff. Like, just come to you automatically. Why? Because they live in their damn rich bubbles, guys. They live in their rich bubbles. They have their security secured for themselves, sort of thing. They've got their rich incomes coming in. And that is, as far as they look at anything. I don't trust politicians as far as I can throw them. Anywhere. They're all the same. All levels of government, guys. Everywhere. Whatever kind of mentality that you need to have in order to get into politics, it's got to be a different kind of mentality. And once you get into politics, it corrupts you. It must totally, completely corrupt a person. Because once they get into it, they lose all empathy and all care and all concern for anything other than lining their own freaking pockets and look after themselves. And we have it here in Newfoundland, guys. Newfoundland. Every as bad as you have it anywhere else. So this is one of the main reasons why we have these ongoing problems that should be easily solved, are solvable, but those in the positions of power couldn't be bothered to solve them right. So with the addiction issues that are taking over our communities, that are taking over our entire province now, apparently, you need all three levels, guys, three agencies working together. Again, it just makes common sense to me. You need the provincial government, if you're down in the state, your state government or whatever sort of thing. The state government, your municipal governments, your town halls, your city halls and all the rest of it. And your policing agencies, okay, those three, your policing agencies as well. You need them all working together, guys. Working together to formalize some kind of a workable plan that tackles that particular issue properly and well. And I don't think that's happening here. I'm almost certain that's not happening here. You're not having the provincial government working with with City Hall and working with the policing agencies around here to rectify this problem once and for all. So the policing agencies here in Newfoundland, guys, would be here in St. John's, you have Newfoundland Constabulary, and for the rest of the province, you have the Royal Newfoundland, did I say that right? Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. I think I said it wrong for the city police. Anyway, you have police force just for St. John's or guys surrounding area, and then for all of the rest of the province, then it's the RCMP, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. So those are policing agencies that we have, so that the provincial government would work with, and all the town halls and city hall and all the rest of it work with the policing agencies as well. And you get together, you formalise a game plan, a workable game plan to tackle the problem right to the very freaking core, from all angles and all the rest of it. Like, you get serious about it. Or just it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, guys. And it's it's like Newfoundland, St. John's. It's going to turn into every slum area that you've ever heard about in every big city or larger town anywhere in the world. And you're going to have an increase of crime and increase of breaking and injuries. It's just like St. John's won't be fit for anybody to live in. It's almost to that point now that you can't live or comfortably and sensibly anymore because there's so much crazy that's going on around you non-stop sort of thing. But it doesn't have to be, guys. It doesn't have to be. If corrupt individuals in positions of power were to care about the issues more than they care about their bloody selves and lining their freaking pockets and making themselves comfortable until they're out of that freaking position and then they're set for the rest of their freaking lives, these issues wouldn't exist like this. I have bitched ever since I've been here in St. John's about the litter problem. Alone, just one little litter problem. I can't stand litter. It drives me mental, guys. There's no need for it. If I was the mayor of this town, I would take litter seriously, and there would be no litter in this town whatsoever. The public places would be beautiful for people to go out and enjoy, sort of thing. But people don't think my way. I'm the eccentric, guys. Why do I not have friends? Because I think in such a way, and my attitudes are such that people don't know how to relate to me. People don't know how to deal with me. People don't know how to I start talking about this sort of stuff and getting on these tangents or whatever. It just scares people off. People think I'm an eccentric and I'm a crazy person and all the rest of it sort of thing. And to be honest with you guys, I don't mean to toot my horn too much here, and I'm going to clue this up right now shortly. But I am the most sensible, down-to-earth, logical, reasonable, rational person that I know. Okay? I don't know of too many people that think about things at the levels that I think about things, they don't even bother. I see all these big wig, rich, executive people going around in their freaking suits and going around in their fancy vehicles and all the rest of it, and they got their businesses and all the rest of it. If I were to sit down and have a deep intellectual conversation with any of these people, I question whether they could hold their own with me and talk about things. They're all good with their business and all good at knowing how to start businesses and run business, supposedly, But they're not good at life, guys. They're not good at issues of life and how to improve communities and how to create a better world and all the rest of it. They're clueless and all that kind of stuff, overall. And this is what I've spent my entire life, guys, thinking about, meditating on, contemplating on, trying to figure out answers for and all the rest of it. Because I want to live in a better world, in general. Not just here in this town, not just here in this province, not just here in this country, the whole freaking world, guys. I want to see a better world for all of us.